Hi, hello and welcome. This is Charulata. Today in this module we are going to see about the advantages of MBO and disadvantages of MBO of standard 12, the third chapter. Okay. Before that, we will have a recap of what is MBO. MBO is nothing but management by objectives, where each member of the organization participate effectively and they involve themselves along with the management. Okay, both the goals of the individual and the organizational goals goes hand in hand. It is said to be MBO. Okay, now we are going to see about the advantages of MBO. Here the managers are involved in the objective setting. So the managers or the superiors, they will set the goals for each department under the MBO, and this creates a commitment, and they also ensures that the subordinates will work for the achievement of the goal. This is the first advantage of the MBO. And the second one is MBO helps the managers to understand their role in the total organization. See, the manager first has to set the objectives of the management, and also he should frame the targets for the subordinates. So he knows the role, what should be done. So this is the next advantage of the MBO. The third one is manager recognizes the need for planning and appreciates the planning. See, only when we want to attain the goal, the first thing we have to do is planning. All the work has to be planned before getting into the action. So the managers know what is the need for the planning, and also he implements the planning and appreciates the planning of the subordinates also. The next one is MBO provides a foundation for participative management. Subordinates are also involved in goal setting. This I have already said. Every now and then the superiors and the subordinates will have a periodical meeting, and they will see whether they are moving towards the targets or towards the objectives. So it gives the participation for the management, for both the superiors and the subordinates. The next advantage is a department does not work at cross purpose with another department. In other words, each department's objectives are consistent with the objectives of the whole organization. As I said in the example, in the for producing the cloths or making it into a full ready-made material, each department, right from getting the raw material, it has to be sewed, it has to be printed, it has to be embroidery section has to go, and then it should be packed, it should be ironed, it should be rechecked whether any damages are there. So everybody, each department will work with harmony with the other department. Only then the organizational goals will be achieved. So each department has their own objectives, and they move along with the objectives of the other department. They coordinate themselves, which is the main reason for the MBO. The MBO helps in working with coordination. This is another advantage of the MBO. The next one is systematic evaluation of performance is made with the help of MBO. So once the subordinates are given the targets, every now and then their performance will be evaluated, examined by the MBO. This is another advantage of MBO. The next one is MBO gives a criteria of performance. It helps to take the corrective action, because the management takes a decision or prepares the goal, or they make the plan along with the subordinates. So they know the criteria for the performance. If this criteria, if this work or the project deviates, immediately corrective measures or correct actions will be taken. This is the another advantage of the MBO. The next one is delegation of authority is easily done with the help of MBO. See, delegation of authority means giving responsibility to the subordinates to perform the task. Okay, a subordinate may be given the responsibility. You have to take care, see that 1000 units of products are produced per day or per week. He will be given the authority. So this is possible only with the help of MBO. The next one is MBO motivates the workers by job enrichment and makes the jobs meaningful, because every now and then the subordinates will be called and they will be apprised what work has to be done. They know what is their work, and there will be a performance appraisal, and they will be given enough incentive or bonus or salary or promotion. This motivates the subordinates and they will make their job very meaningful to attain the organizational goals. The next one is the responsibility of worker is fixed through MBO. So only by the management by objectives, the responsibility to the subordinates are fixed. The last one is decision taken by the management very quickly. The reason is that each worker knows the purpose of taking a decision and does not oppose the decision, because the decision is taken along with the subordinates, along with the employees, along with the workers. The decision is not taken only by the management or the managers. They consult, they sit, they coordinate along with the subordinates for each and every decision. So the employees know the purpose of taking the decision and they will not refuse to do the work in order to attain the goal. So these are the advantages of the MBO, right? Now we will go to the disadvantages of MBO. See here, what are the disadvantages means, MBO fails to explain the philosophy. Most of the executives do not know how MBO works, what is MBO and why is MBO necessary, and how participants can benefit by MBO. Most of the management, they may not know the objectives set by themselves. They do not consult with the subordinates. So they don't know for what purpose the MBO has to be done. So this is the disadvantage of the MBO. The second one is it is a time consuming process, because much time is needed by the senior people for framing the objectives. So they have to frame the objectives of the organization. After setting the objectives, it has to be passed on to the subordinates, or it has to be discussed with the subordinates whether they can do it or not. So this framing the MBO becomes a time consuming process, and it also leads to the heavy expenditure and also heavy paperwork. It has to be put into the papers. It has to be get signed by the subordinates. He has to get the permission from the higher authorities. So these are all time consuming and also expenditure. The next one is MBO emphasis only on the short term objectives and does not consider the long term objectives. So they will focus only for a week. This week we have to produce 10,000 units. So at the end, how much they are going to produce, they may not take into consideration, because it is a time consuming. Sometimes they will focus only on the short term objectives. So this becomes a disadvantage of the MBO. The next one is the status of the subordinates is necessary for the proper objective settings, but this is not possible in the process of MBO. See, most of the subordinates may not have the knowledge of fixing the target or the planning or decision making. They will do the work. If they are able to do, they will do, or otherwise they will keep mum. So the status of the subordinates or cannot be predictable. So because of this, MBO is not possible for the proper objectives. Okay. The next one is MBO is rigid one. Objectives should be changed according to the changed circumstances, external or internal. If it is not done, the planned results cannot be obtained. So once the objectives are set now, it should be a bit flexible according to the changing environment. Whereas MBO's objectives are very rigid. and they are not changing according to the circumstances. So this is the last disadvantages of the MBO. In the next section, we will see about the management by exception. Thank you. Hope you understood.